right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Mixed Level Yoga. I've decided for this week of classes, as we started yesterday, to bring more attention into meditation and different angles of approaching meditation. So, here's some simpler definitions or lead into it by one of my favorite teachers of meditation, Thich Nhat Hanh. I've read from him before. So find a comfortable seat. In using the physical postures of yoga to warm our bodies up and prepare our bodies to feel more at ease, sitting down and being still and connecting within through meditation, I'd like to offer the physical practice more of a practice of mindfulness. And here's his definition of it. Mindfulness is the energy that helps us recognize the conditions of happiness that are already present in our lives. There are those of us who are alive but don't know it. Their mind is caught in their worries, their fears, their anger, their regrets, and they are not mindful of being there. But when you breathe in and you are aware of your in-breath, you touch the miracle of being alive. So reserving another 3 minutes at the end of practice for sitting meditation, I'm going to read a little bit more about sitting meditation later. But let's begin with a practice of mindfulness and how we sit, ground the pelvis, physically feel what you're sitting on and press into it, lifting up through the center of your spine, getting a little taller. Take a moment to roll the shoulders forward and up, back and down a few times. Feel into the way that you're breathing naturally before altering it. So let the sensations in your body and the quality of your natural breath give information of your state of being right now and help you to clarify what you want to cultivate within that state of being. Start to drop the chin towards your chest. Maybe close the eyes here as you begin to lower left ear towards left shoulder, rotating the head gently and slowly around. Once you make a full rotation, go in the opposite direction. Feel the muscles in your face. Bring the head upright, begin to parallel your chin to the ground. Glide your chin softly towards the back of your throat. At the back of your skull, lift up and feel the crown rise, creating a little more lift all the way down through each vertebra, down to your lower back. Feel the back ribs lift as the pelvis descends. And then resting your hands in your lap, observe what your energy is like this morning. Is it feeling pretty high and energetic? Maybe turn the palms to face down and balance that out with feeling a bit grounded. If it's the opposite and you need to feel a little more uplifted and energized, turn the palms to face up. And as we bring more attention to the breath, perhaps bring your thumb and first finger to touch. Just helps to concentrate. Inhale a little slower and feel where that breath naturally expands in your physical body. Taking your time, open the mouth, whisper the breath out completely. Slowing down the inhalation, fill up. Expand a little bit more, perhaps down into the pit of the belly, the back ribs. Through the mouth, whisper the breath out so you can hear it. Find a brief pause at the bottom of the exhalation. Invite a deeper inhalation, filling up all the four walls of your torso, front, back, left, and right. Pause at the top of the in-breath. And again, through the mouth, whisper it. Pause at the bottom of the out-breath. And now as you close the lips, breathe in deeply without pausing. Smoothly transition to emptying the breath through your nostrils. Continue to invite an audible sound, but a soft sound to your breath by gently narrowing the back of your throat. Feeling the breath brush past it. hearing the soothing waves like calm ocean waves. The inhalation rising as slowly as the exhalation falling. Consciously balancing the rhythm of your breath. Allow your breath to serve as an anchor for your mind, present in your body, present with whatever comes up in the mind's thoughts, without having to follow them off into some past or future. Using the flow and the sound of the breath to be anchored in the present. Feeling all the power that you have to shift things if needed, right here in the now. So as you continue to tune into your breathing, softly open your eyes and let's come down to downward facing dog. And setting that up, you might start with knees right under your hips, wrists a couple inches in front of your shoulders, index fingers parallel pointing forward, thumbs wide and flat. Then tucking your toes, you might bend the knees generously to start to really find a lift in the hips as high as you can back, away from the hands, dropping the head. Take a moment if you'd like to shift around by pedaling your feet slowly, pressing one heel into the ground as you bend the opposite knee. Maybe even swiveling the hips left and right, adding a stretch in the sides of your torso, outer hips. Let your head hang freely as you feel the support of your hands grounded, fingers flat, spread. Lifting the shoulders up, away from your neck. Spreading the shoulder blades wide across your upper back by rotating the triceps towards the ground. Then as you begin to find stillness, maybe you keep a bend in the knees to maintain the highest lift of your hips, the longest length in your spine, feeling the balance in your breath again. Though the body is externally still, feel the belly firming towards the back, shoulders and hips rising, weight shifting towards the rear of the mat, front of your thighs firming back. 2 more deep breaths. Feel the length along all the sides of your neck. As you inhale, look forward and float forward into the top of a push-up plank pose. Let's hold. Staring at the floor just in front of your hands. Keep spreading the shoulder blades apart. Now feel the space between your shoulder blades and see if you could slightly dome that center of your upper back using your lats. Triceps rotate towards the back of the mat. Anytime you want more support, you can set the knees down, but keep lifting the belly, lifting the sideways. Press the heels back if your legs are straight, so you feel your heels stack right above the balls of your hip. We're here for about 3 more breaths. Front of your thighs engage. Chest broadening forward. Take another inhalation. Now firm the belly a little more to lift the tailbone back again to downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Feel your thumb and index firming into the floor. And let's add on as we inhale, shift forward again to plank, shoulders right over wrists. Feel the rebound of your weight off the floor to your hands, creating space in the shoulders. Now bring your feet to touch. Keep your 2 hips leveled by firming them towards the midline. Keep lifting the belly. Now flex the right foot to hover just a couple inches off the ground. Press the heel back, lengthen the crown forward, chest forward, breathe. Maybe you start to shift more weight onto the right hand, and just like the hips, keeping the shoulders balanced, perhaps you extend left arm forward like you're about to shake someone's hand. Upper arm alongside the ear if you're doing that. You can always set the left knee down if you need. Lift the side waist, broaden the chest forward, draw the left shoulder back, breathe. Setting the left hand down, the right foot down. You could always set the knees down as well. Otherwise, stay in plank, breathe in. Belly lifts, breathe out. Feet touch if legs are straight. Flex the left foot to hover a couple inches off the ground. Keep gazing forward, but relax the eyes. Tune into the breath. You might start to lift the right arm off the floor, just like your hips, trying to keep the shoulders balanced. As little wavering as possible. If right arm is lifted, upper arm alongside the ear, draw the right shoulder back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Set right hand down, left foot down. Start to shift forward. Really slowly hug your elbows to your side ribs. Try to lower chest and belly at the same time. Rest your forehead on the mat and point your toes back. Slide your knees as close together as you can, preparing for bound locust pose. Reaching your hands behind your lower back to clasp or holding a strap between the hands. Press every toenail down into the mat. Keep your feet on the floor in this one. Press the pubic bone into the floor. Spiral the inner thighs slightly towards the ceiling, keeping your feet parallel. Then roll the shoulders back, lifting your chest. Look slightly down. 5 deep breaths, your count. Feel the shoulder blades slide a little closer together, but down the back ribs. Lengthen the back of your neck as you relax the face. Feel the power of your legs grounding through your feet. Pubic bone pressing the earth, tailbone lengthened towards the heels. Feel the reach of the knuckles of your hands towards your heels as you broaden the chest, lifting the heart forward. When you finish your count of 5 breaths, set your hands down for cobra so that your wrists are alongside your floating ribs. Your elbows are hugging your side ribs. And then take a breath or few in cobra pose. You might like to turn the head side to side and give the neck a gentle stretch. Smoothing your breath out. Then as you press down to your hands, you might have knees on the floor or tuck the toes with legs straight. Lift up, back to downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here, wrapping the triceps towards the ground again, releasing your neck. Looking at your feet, hips width, parallel. As you keep your hips squared, inhale, raise the right leg behind you. As you exhale, bend the right knee towards your nose, rounding your back to lightly step the foot forward inside of your right hand. Set the left knee down, untuck the toes. Keep your hands alongside your right leg, but scoot them back close enough to your hips where you feel pretty balanced. Now here, let's sink the pelvis down and give the front of your left hip, top of your left thigh, a deeper stretch, your hip flexor. You could scoot the right heel forward a bit if you like to help you get a little more into it. Scissor the right hip slightly back so your 2 hips are evenly facing the front of your mat. Soften the shoulders behind you and down, lifting the chest, open your throat, 2 more breaths. Maybe you slide the right foot further forward, sink the hips a little lower. Curl the right toes up and scissor the right hip back enough to straighten the right leg to whatever degree allows you to fold with a feeling of a flat back rather than rounding the shoulders. Half split. Feel your left hip stack above your left knee. Broaden the chest like a small semblance of cobra pose. Then extend the sternum forward, about 3 more breaths. Feel the flexing of your right foot help to engage your right quadricep, the front muscle of your right thigh. Then supporting and lengthening your hamstring, the back muscle of your right thigh. 1 more deep breath. Ardha Hanumanasana. Rebend the right knee, step into plank again, top of a push-up. Inhale in plank. Carefully exhale, shift forward, hug your elbows to your side ribs. Come all the way down for 1 inhale in cobra. Inhale, broaden the chest, ground the feet. Tuck the toes. Exhale, lift the pelvis back, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Again, keeping your hips squared. Inhale, raise the left leg behind you. Exhale, bend the knee towards your nose. Feel the lift in your belly as you round and step left foot inside of left hand. Lower the right knee, untuck the toes. Keep your hands alongside your front leg. And then begin to sink your pelvis. Feel the stretch into the front of your right hip, and thigh, your hip flexor. Scissor the left hip back so your two hips are evenly facing the front of your mat. And maybe you explore sliding the left foot another inch or so forward, focusing on anchoring the tailbone towards the ground, softening the shoulders back and down. About 3 more breaths. Lifting your heart. Feel the naturally open space between your chin and your chest. Then start to curl your left toes up, flex the left foot, scissor the left hip back, enough to be able to straighten the leg to the degree that you can bow forward inside of it with a feeling of a flat back. In fact, add a little bit of cobra as the heart lifts and the shoulders press down the back. Feel the front of your left thigh engage as you support and lengthen the back of it, flexing the left foot. Feel your right hip stack above your right knee, equally lengthened through both sides of your torso, from outer hips to armpits. 2 more breaths. Just like you use the breath as an anchor for the mind to be present with the body, you might use these alignment cues in the same way. Rebend the left knee. This time look forward and step forward to fold at the front of your mat. Feet hips width parallel. Inhale, press the ground or your legs, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Firm down to your feet. Inhale, circle the arms overhead, perhaps a gentle back bend lifting the chest. Exhale, trace your hands together at your heart. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, hinge from your hips to bow. Press the ground of your legs. Inhale, lift the heart, look forward. Step to plank or lightly jump to chaturanga, which is halfway down from plank. Inhaling into cobra or upward facing duck. Exhaling into downward facing duck. 3 to 5 breaths. As you feel the rise and fall of your breathing, feel the re-steadying of mind with body. Bend your knees, look in front of your hands. This time, empty the breath first. Try to hold it out and lift your pelvic floor to walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Bring your feet together to touch. We'll take a few breaths in chair as we break down Sun Salutation B. Knees together, sink your weight back towards the heels, drawing the tailbone down, lifting the heart up, relaxing the shoulders away from your neck. 2 more breaths. Hug in the bottom of your front ribs, glide your shin bones back. On an exhale, shift forward to bow. Sun Salutation B. Inhale, press to lengthen forward. Step or lightly jump back. Remember, if you jump, to land with your elbows already bent 90 degrees. Inhale, cobra or upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Keep your hips squared and inhale, raise the right leg behind you. Engage the belly and lightly step the foot inside of your right hand. Separate the feet hips width, but drop the back heel. Keep your hips facing forward and inhale to rise up, warrior 1. Let's take just a few breaths here. So you want to have your feet wide enough apart so they each have a separate lane to allow you to turn both hips to face forward. And by pivoting your back toes to slightly face forward, you help that squaring of the hips too. Bending the front knee just over the heel, pelvis upright, back heel rooted, back leg straight. Then with an exhale, lower your hands from plank and come down using that full exhalation. Inhale into cobra or upward facing. Exhale to downward facing. Keep the hips squared and inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale, slowly step the foot inside of your left hand. Before coming up, set up your feet. Hips distance, back heel down, back toes slightly facing forward. Then feel your hips already squared. So you build each standing posture from the ground up. which then allows a stable flow in and out. Feel your front knee bend just over the heel, maybe the palms touch. Feel the back heel pressing the mat as you straighten the back leg. Lift the frontal hip bones. And with an exhalation, take it all the way down through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, cobra or upward facing. Exhale, downward facing, this time pausing for 3 to 5 deep breaths. In this pause, creating the pace that you'll flow through the same sequence, practicing one breath each movement. And remember, that's the key word, practice. We've all got different things happening in our lives and our bodies and energies right now. So do the best that you can to maintain a consistent breath and move to it, modifying as you need to make it sustainable. With bent knees, look past your hands. On emptied breath, lift your pelvic floor to land quietly at the top of your mat. Feet touch. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Knees touch, sit low. Inhale, chair pose. Then exhale to rise up. So now let's practice a couple rounds of sun salutation, be in a flow. Inhale, sit in chair pose. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen forward. Step or lightly float back as you exhale to lower. Inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale the foot forward and side, right hand, back heel down. Hips squared, inhale, rise for one inhale. Exhale, lower all the way. Inhale, cobra or upward. Exhale, downward. Inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale the foot inside of your left hand, back heel down. Inhale, rise to warrior one. Exhale, lower all the way through. Breathe into cobra or upward. Breathe out to downward facing dog. 3 to 5 breaths here. Restabilizing pace of your breath. Though we're in continuous movement during the flow, let it not feel rushed. Let the practice of mindfulness, of slowing down the breathing, letting the body follow the breath. Help to feel steady. Bend the knees, look forward. Bottom of the breath, lightly land top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale to rise up. Again, here we go. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step to plank or float to chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward. Exhale, downward. Inhale, raise right leg. Exhale the foot forward, back heel down. Inhale, rise to warrior one. Exhale, lower all the way through. Remember, you can modify the vinyasa if necessary to cat-cow or skip it from downward dog. Inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale the foot inside, left hand, right heel down. Inhale, rise to warrior one. Exhale all the way down. Vinyasa. Downward facing dog, 3 to 5 breaths. Now, before wrapping up the sun salutation bee, let's add a little something here. Keeping your 2 hips squared, breathe in to raise the right leg behind you. Bend the knee, turn open at the hip, and take a few breaths in any variation of opening up that inner thigh. You could stay here, tack the left hip back. You rotate the right leg at the hip. You could flip it over into tripod back bend, stepping the ball of your right foot outside the left edge of your mat and lifting the chest by lifting the pelvis. Whatever variation. Breathe in, breathe out, then come back to three-legged downward facing dog, squaring the hips. There, inhale, flex the right heel back. Exhale, look forward and cross the right knee to touch left elbow or tricep in plank. Inhale, re-extend the right leg. Exhale, touch right elbow or tricep in plank. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, bend knee to nose, round forward and lightly step into a high lunge. Right foot inside right hand. Stay high on the ball of your left foot. Now keep the hands down for a moment and feel the stability through your legs as if you're dragging the feet towards each other. Feel the hips squared, level in height. Begin to lift the arms just by your sides, palms face down, look ahead of your right toes. And then lift the belly to hover just an inch or two off the front thigh. Hug the right hip in towards your midline, tack it back. Breathe the chest forward, lengthen the sides of the neck. Soften the eyes. Now begin to raise the arms overhead, coming into crescent lunge. You might bend the left knee a little bit here, or even set it down if you want more support, so that you can help to orient your pelvis upright by lifting the frontal hip bones. Let the tailbone anchor down, right hip back, left hip forward, and then feel the reach up through your fingertips. Begin from all the way down the sides of your hips. Soften the shoulders, lift the heart. About 3 more breaths here in crescent lunge. With eyes steady, body steady, breath and mind steady. Now take your right thumb and hook the crease of your right hip down and back just to help stabilize your hips squared. Imagine that your left heel is pressing against a wall as you lengthen your spine forward, breathing in. From your waistline, exhale, twist to your right and either lower left hand inside of the right foot or cross the left elbow outside the right thigh in a twist. If you're crossing the elbow, you could either open the arms or join the hands in prayer, drawing the shoulder blades down the back ribs, hollow the belly away from the right thigh, and use your obliques, the muscles along the sides of your core, sides of your waist, to continue to rotate the rib cage deeper into the twist. About 3 more breaths. As you inhale, firm the left heel back and lengthen the crown of your head down the center line of your mat. As you exhale, stabilize your hips squared and continue to rotate the rib cage, pressing the shoulder blades down your back. Last deep breath here. Now look at the ground just inside of your right foot. Set your left hand flat on the floor so the wrist is right under your shoulder, preparing for side plank. Now you could modify by setting the left knee down and stepping the right foot to the rear of your mat. Or you could stay on the left outer foot, keeping the left leg straight, the left foot flexed, and step the right foot down the midline of your mat, pivoting to the right like a kickstand on a bike. Or stack the right foot on top of the left foot or hover it, flexing both feet. About 3 more breaths. Now use the ground, root into it, just like you do when you're standing in mountain pose, to rise up away from it. Feel your left hip lift. Again, through the strength of your obliques too. Soften the shoulders down the back. Reach the right arm overhead towards the front. Set the right hand down. Option to flow into a vinyasa or take a moment in child's pose. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Breathe in. Stick out your tongue, lion's breath. And then through the nose, mouth closed, Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breath. Now from downward dog, continue to square your hips. Think of squaring your shoulders as well. Inhale, raise the left leg. Actually, let's add the hip opener before you square the shoulders. So bend the left knee, turn open at the hip. Either stay here, tack the right hip back, Circle out the left leg or flip it over into tripod. Stepping ball of your left foot outside left edge of your mat. Lifting the pelvis and dropping the head back to open the chest. Take a full breath. Then coming back to three-legged downward dog, square your hips. Inhale, flex the left heel back. Now square the shoulders and exhale, cross left knee to touch right elbow or tricep and plank. Look forward. Inhale, back to three-legged dog. Exhale, touch left elbow or tricep and plank. Inhale, back. Exhale, bend knee to nose, round forward and lightly step into a high lunge. Left foot inside of left hand. Keep your hands down for a moment and separate your feet hips distance parallel. Bring the energy into your legs as if scissoring towards each other. Then lift your arms by your sides, palms face down. Lift the belly to hover just a little bit off your left thigh. Looking forward, broaden the chest, lengthen the neck. One more breath here. Then sweeping the arms overhead, rise to crescent lunge. You might bend the right knee here, at least a little bit, or a lot bit, so that you can anchor the tailbone down. Lift the frontal hip bones. Feel the serenity of your breath. Establishing the tone for your mind here. Bring your left thumb to the outer crease of your left hip. Tack it down and back. Imagine your right heel is firming against a wall, really solid as you square the hips. Lengthen your spine forward on an inhale. Use your obliques. Exhale, twist to your left. Either set the right hand down inside of the left leg or hook the right elbow outside the left thigh, where you might open the arms or join the hands in prayer. Firm the right heel back. Breathe in and lengthen the spine further down the center line of your mat. Breathe out and hollow the belly. Use the muscles in your side waist to continue to rotate your rib cage. Pressing the shoulder blades down your back. Find ease in your breath. It's a practice, especially in situations like this. You've got 3 more breaths. Knowing that all is temporary and that this shall pass too, whether it's a high amount of pleasure or a high amount of challenge. Change is constant. Look down at the floor just under your right shoulder and place your right hand flat. Wrist directly under the shoulder. Now you could modify by lowering right knee down, stepping the left foot to the rear of your mat, side plank, or keep the right leg straight and roll onto the pinky toe edge of your right foot flex and step the left foot midway down your mat in front of you, like a kickstand. Otherwise, stack both feet flexed or hover left foot on top of right. Raise the left arm and feel the ground. Rebound your weight off it, lifting the right hip, shoulder blades down the back ribs, bottom front ribs hugging the back body, tailbone lengthening towards inner right heel. Last 2 breaths. Sweep the top arm overhead. Set your left hand down, optional vinyasa, cat-cow, rest. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Breathe in, open the mouth, let it go. One more, inhale deeply. Any releasing breath, maybe flutter the lips. Now let's finish off that sun salutation B. Bend your knees, look forward. On empty breath, land your feet to touch top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees to touch. Inhale, sit low in chair. Exhale to rise up. Now let's use the mat sideways and take a wide stance so that when you open your arms, your ankles are right under your wrists, preparing for warrior 2. From your hips, rotate your legs, pivoting your feet. And I'm going to be your mirror here. So my left foot is going to become my front foot. Aligning that front heel to intersect the arch of your right foot, the back foot. Then bend your left knee right on top of the ankle, aligning the middle of the kneecap with the middle toe. Wrap the left outer hip slightly under your body. As the right knee and toes slightly face that front foot, firm the top of your right thigh bone back and align your pelvis upright. Center your spine vertically between your feet. As you open your arms, steady your gaze just past your left hand, breathing in. Breathing out, soften the shoulders. Giving your body your full presence here through attention on your breath. One more breath in Virabhadrasana 2. Then straighten the left leg for triangle. You might slide the feet a couple inches shorter stance. Slide your hips towards your rear foot. For me, that's the right foot. Reach the left hand past your left knee, then down onto your leg, or just to the left of the leg. Wrapping that left outer hip underneath like you did in Warrior 2. Reach your tailbone back towards your outer right heel, and perhaps turn your gaze up past the right thumb. As your body is still, feel the waves of your breath. Feel the extension of energy through these lines you create in the shape of your posture. Cross the arms, radiating from the heart. Up and down the spine to the outer edge of your right heel. Out your left leg into the earth. Last 2 breaths. Uttita Trikonasana. Find the balance of effort and ease here, form, structure, and grace and fluidity. Firming down through both feet, inhale to rise up. Keep the wide stance, and we'll just turn to face the opposite edge of your mat by rotating your thigh bones at the hips, then pivoting your feet. This time align right heel to intersect arch of your left foot for Warrior 2. Bend your right knee just over the ankle, aligning the center of the kneecap with the middle toe. Wrapping the right outer hip slightly under your body as you firm the top of your left thigh bone back. Feel your pelvis upright, neutral. As you reopen the arms, see your spine centered between your feet. Steady your gaze just past your right hand. Feeling both strength and softness. As you might observe other thoughts come in, and just see when they do, let them pass, stay anchored on your breath. Practice of being present here with your body. Straighten the right leg for triangle. You might shorten your stance a couple inches. Slide your hips towards your left foot, right hand forward and down. Feel your right outer hip continue to wrap underneath your body. Elongate your tailbone back towards your outer left heel. Feel the long, strong line of energy from your outer left heel firming into the earth, up your left leg, up your tailbone, up and out through the crown of your head. Imagine breathing through that line of energy. Is there any obstruction in that line at the neck? Perhaps by shrugging the shoulders. Find space there. Now bring your attention to your heart center. Imagine breathing from there and radiating through the line of energy across your wingspan and beyond your fingertips. Last 2 breaths. Uttita Trikonasana. pressing down through both feet. Inhale to rise all the way up. Step or lightly jump your feet together. And let's play with a little more balance upright. So start in mountain pose. Spread your toes, spread your weight to the four corners of each foot. All these principles become so relevant in each posture. This rooting down and rising, this balancing a breath, steady the gaze. With your right hand on your right hip, catch hold of your left knee with left hand. Right away, flex your left foot so that lifted leg is not dead weight. It's focused. It's supporting your balance. Press into the ground with your right foot. Level your two hips so your pelvis is balanced upright, and feel the effect of your spine. Now, shoulder girdle stacked above pelvic girdle. Maintain that awareness. Now, you could hold the knee if you want to play with straightening the right leg. Clasp the big toe with your peace fingers, index and middle. And as you continue to flex the left foot, you could start to extend the left leg forward. It might not straighten all the way because you're trying to keep that shoulder girdle stacked above the pelvic girdle. Now feel the balance in the hips, root down, lift up. Begin to turn out your left leg by rotating the thigh bone externally. Then slowly open the left leg, open the right arm, and find your center line. From your inner right heel, inner right thigh, navel, throat, top of your head. Feel that stacking line. Breathe in. Yes, breathe out. Remember, you could keep the knee bent. You could hold on to the knee as well. Start to bring the left leg forward. Now switch hands so that right hand can catch the outer bent knee or the outer foot flex. Use the left thumb. Hook the crease of the left outer hip down. Realign the pelvis squared. Shoulders above hips. Twist to your left. Now feel the stability from your pelvis down to your right ankle. Feel the twisting happen at your waistline. You might reach the left hand towards behind you, maybe looking towards it. 2 more breaths, soften the shoulders down. Let go of any unnecessary tension. Sometimes it just happens from focusing. Feel the breath at ease. Begin to look forward again. Raise the arms up, keep the left leg lifted. Lift the pelvic floor, take a deep inhale, get a little taller, and then step it down. Nice job, everyone. Let it go. Shake it out, dance it out, sigh it out. Back to mountain pose. Feel the ground. Feel the steady waves of breath. As you engage the quadriceps, root down, catch your right knee as the left hand is on your hip. Flex the right foot right away and rebalance the 2 hips. Pelvic bowl upright, shoulder girdle stacking above. Now, if you're going to catch hold of the big toe, use your peace fingers, arm inside of the leg, if you're moving towards any degree of straightening the leg, without compromising the stacking of shoulders over hips. Find your balance here as you breathe. You got it. Externally rotate right thigh bone at the hip, so knee points to the right. Then slowly begin to open the leg and left arm. Stay connected to your center line. If that starts to come off balance, like tilting like this, then bend the knee. You can bring it closer. Do whatever adjustments to maintain your connection to the center line of your body. Breathe in. Yes, great variations, everyone. Breathe out. Now slowly begin to bring the right leg in front of you again. Switch hands. So you're either holding the outer knee with the left hand or the outer foot. Use the right thumb. Hook the right hip crease down. Press into the ground, lift up. Now use your obliques to twist. Breathe in, stand a little taller, feel the ground. Breathe out, maybe twist a little further. You might reach the right hand back and look at it. Last 2 breaths here. Revolved hand to big toe pose. Start to look forward, keep flexing the right foot in front of you. Raise the arms up, think boat pose. Draw the navel in and up and lift your pelvic floor. Breathe in. Exhale, let it go. Step the feet apart. Wide stance, parallel feet. Bring your hands behind you, interlace the fingers. Roll the shoulders back, lift the heart, inhale. Hinge from your hips, exhale, fold and drop the skull. Reaching the arms up away and away from your lower back. Feel the broadening of your chest. At the same time, lift your shoulders up and away from your neck. Let your skull fall, releasing the neck and perhaps any heaviness in the shoulders and upper back. Shift your weight forward so it feels a little heavier on the balls of your feet than your heels. And if it helps to completely release the spine better, you can bend the knees more. If your head is not leaning on something, try shaking your head out. Help to release the neck a bit, maybe flutter the lips. Switch the cross of the index and middle fingers if you're clasping. Now, here's our last inversion practice. If you prefer something more active like headstand, tripod headstand, or if you want to get in a crow pose, an arm balance, feel free to take that instead. Unless you're more into a cooling inversion right now, you can stay in a standing forward fold of your choice. Like if you'd like to add a twist here, you could crawl the hands forward, raise one arm up, and then switch. Add your own ingredients here for a few more breaths. Feel the clarity of your breath. Take your time if your feet are up in the air. Gently lower them when you feel ready. Stay as long as you need to in your inversion. Just remember not to lift your head up too fast, whatever upside down pose you're in. We're gonna eventually, from a wide-legged forward fold with feet on the floor, crawl the hands to the front of your mat and pivot to a lunge so that you can step into plank. Holding plank for maybe 3 breaths or more before you very carefully shift forward from the belly to lower all the way down to the floor. For our last round of back bends, heart openers. A little more to release any tension in the front of the shoulders, the neck. Let's move into bow, Dhanurasana, unless you've got any issues with the lower back. If you do have lower back stuff going on, take Shalabhasana like this. Legs straight, arms back, everything lifts. 5 breaths or so. So if you're going into bow, have your knees as close together as you can to start so they don't splay wider than hips distance when you're in the pose. Then bend your knees, reach back with your hands to catch your outer feet. Press your pubic bone into the floor and begin to kick your legs towards straight while pulling your feet using the counter forces to lift your knees. Roll the shoulders back and down, look slightly down, neck is relaxed. 5 or so breaths, your count. As you put pressure into the digestive organs, you might even breathe into there, helping the flow of digestion in your body. This posture opens up much of the front body, including hips and thighs. When you come down, release one ear to the ground and pigeon toe your feet, resting for about 3 deep belly breaths. Now, a couple more rounds of back bends. You could do any of those first 2, locust or bow, or you could flip over into your back and come into bridge, which I'll then lead into upward bow for the last round if you want to follow me there. Take your choice. If you're on your back for bridge, bend your knees and bring your arms down by your sides. Have your feet set up where you could almost touch your heels with your fingertips, but not quite. Parallel your feet. Ground them in your shoulders, then lift the pelvis while actively stretching the thighs forward parallel. Slide the upper arms underneath your back ribs while keeping the arms straight. If your hands touch, then interlace the fingers. If they don't, it's okay, let them go. Grounding the outer upper arms too, tilt your chin slightly back to open your throat. Fill up your lungs. This is a great posture for encouraging expansion in the lungs capacity. Mindful that your thighs don't splay apart. Spin your inner thighs slightly towards the ground. After your count of 5 or so breaths, use an exhalation to release your hands and slowly lower your spine. As your pelvis meets the ground, just drop the knees together, feet slide them apart a little wider, and just rest for another 3 breaths. You might rest your hands in your belly. You can feel grounding. We've got one more back bend. If you're up for it, you could always rest. You always have a choice. So any of the first few that we've done, or if you want to take it up just a little bit notch from bridge pose, I'm going to walk you through upward facing bow. Really important that you be mindful of how your lower back feels as you take upward facing bow. If it starts to feel compressed in any way, take it one step back. Don't go any further. So here we go. We set up like bridge, feet where you could almost touch the heels with the fingertips. But then you place the hands alongside your ears, fingertips pointing at the shoulders. Just like your legs, keep your arms parallel. Sometimes the elbows will want to splay apart. Don't. Be aware of that. Now begin to lift like bridge. Lift the pelvis, stretch the thighs forward. Then, as you press the feet down, see if you can bring crown of your head to the mat. If that feels okay on your lower back, then push off your hands and begin to lift the head off the floor. Think of actively stretching thighs forward. Heels stay rooted and still, but imagine you're dragging them towards the glutes. 5 or so breaths before coming down to rest. Letting the head hang freely. Wrap the triceps towards the part of the mat your eyes are facing. To come out of upward facing bow, bring the crown of the head to the floor first, then tuck chin to chest, and slowly roll the spine down. So whether you're lying on your back or on your belly, take a gentle moving twist where you drop the shins side to side as you slow down the breathing. And maybe take a few exhales through the mouth to cool down. Separating your feet, and so make sure that you are on your back now so we can come together. So now on your back, bend your knees and cross right thigh over left thigh. Imagine you're in eagle pose, so if you can, even wrap the ankles and the feet, intertwine the legs if possible. Bend your elbows apart like a cactus. Then wrap the left elbow over the right. So opposite leg on top, opposite arm on top. Either hook the thumbs or wrap the forearms and palms. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, contract the belly and round. You might even go as far as lifting the head and shoulders. Pause here for about 3 breaths. Keep the intertwining of your legs, open the arms wide, and scoot your pelvis slightly to the right side of your mat. Keep the right shoulder on the ground and begin a twist to your left. If this feels too much with your legs so intertwined, you can unintertwine your legs a bit. You could also just bend the knees together instead of crossing the legs here. Now, as you hold a twist just a few more breaths, you might look over your right shoulder, stretching the neck, ground the right shoulder, and bring your attention to your right outer hip. Think of tilting that right outer hip so slightly away from your right armpit, towards your feet, towards the rear edge of the mat, so that you're slightly lengthening the right side of your torso, your waist. Take one more deep exhalation. Roll back to center, uncross the legs. Switch the left leg wrapping over the right as much as you can, like eagle pose. Then bend the elbows apart, wrap the right elbow on top of the left. Hook the thumbs or the palms flat. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, contract the belly like a sit-up. You might lift the head and shoulders. Imagine elbows and knees are trying to touch. Hold for 3 breaths. Feel the shoulder blades broaden across the back ribs. Keep the legs crossed, but release the head and shoulders and open the arms wide. Now, you might uncross the legs just a little bit to prepare for the twist if you want less intensity. Scoot the pelvis slightly towards the left edge of your mat. Drop your knees gently towards the right. Looking over the left shoulder, ground the left shoulder. Then think of tilting your left outer hip away from your left armpit towards your feet. slightly lengthening the left side of your torso and tractioning your lower spine. Take a deep exhalation through the mouth. And uncross the legs. And just for one more minute, any kind of cherry on top before we lie still in Shavasana. Any movement, cooling posture before you completely rest on the ground. Or get a head start in the rest if you like. Take a few last deep exhalations as you lower your body into a position where it can be still for a few minutes in Shavasana, preparing us to enter 3 minutes of sitting meditation afterward. As you continue to rest with your body still and your eyes closed. In the beginning, I mentioned that in these days, this week, I would be sharing different approaches to meditation in hopes that you might find something that resonates most with you. Here is a brief explanation of sitting meditation from the angle of Thich Nhat Hanh, a Buddhist monk. Sitting meditation is returning home to give full attention to and care for ourself. Like the peaceful image of the Buddha on the altar, we too can radiate peace and stability. We sit upright with dignity and return to our breathing. We bring our full attention to what is within and around us. We let our mind become spacious and our heart soft and kind. Sitting meditation is very healing. We realize that we can be with just whatever is within us, our pain, anger, and irritation, or our joy, love, and peace. We are with whatever is there without being carried away by it. Let it come, let it stay, and then let it go. No need to push, to oppress, or to pretend our thoughts are not there. Observe the thoughts and images of our mind with an accepting and loving eye. We are free to be still and calm despite the storms that might arise in us. If our legs or feet fall asleep or begin to hurt during the sitting, we are free to adjust our position quietly. We can maintain our concentration by following our breath, then slowly and attentively change our posture. Aware of the Sangha around us or the supportive community around us, we feel in harmony with the larger body. So start with small movements to begin to move your body, gently wake it up, keeping the eyes closed, turning over to your right side. pressing the ground so you can lift the body up. Find a seat that allows you to be attentive to what's here in body and mind. Continue to breathe naturally. As you close your eyes, we'll be in the space of meditation for the next 3 minutes, starting now. Breathing in, breathing out. Please join your hands together at your heart. Bowing in and appreciating the effort you put into your practice of coming back to home. Within yourself. Let's close chanting one Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.